If you want to grow your business, you want to make sure that you can reach out to as many people as possible. Part of doing that is making sure that you have a diverse organization that reflects your customers. I'm here today with Kristy Fercho, President of Flagstar Mortgage, who's going to talk to us about that. Hi, Kristy.
Hey, Tamara. How are you?
First of all, thank you so much for joining us today. And secondly, congratulations on Flagstar's win on its Diversity and Inclusion Award from MBA last year. So congratulations.
Thanks. We're really excited about it.
So I want to talk to you about kind of the secret sauce that you have. Yeah. So tell me, why is diversity and inclusion, outreach, organizational diversity, why is that important?
Yeah. So it's most important to our CEO, which we're really, really blessed by, because diversity and inclusion, for it to be successful, it has to start with the top. And so our CEO, this is a real passion of his, and he signed the CEO pledge and commitment to diversity, and came back to the organization and really talked about why this is personal for him and why it was so important. And so that was really the start of diversity and inclusion at Flagstar. And for then, we just built out the strategy and the program, kind of created our kind of pillars, and really started developing kind of the outreach and the strategic plan to be able to really move forward.
Well, it sounds like you have great leadership from the top. What are some of the other considerations that other leaders in the organizations should have throughout the entire company?
Yeah, I'd say if you're starting a diversity and inclusion program, it's most important first to start internally and to understand, what does the diversity look like inside of your company? So what's the composition of your workforce? And then second, I would suggest then people do kind of a landscape, or look at the landscape and the environment in which they're operating in, and say, what are the emerging trends kind of in your business? What happens in the markets that you serve, or the markets that you really want to target and grow? Kind of what does your business strategy look like in those areas? And then third, I would say it's really about understanding, what are the mindsets and behaviors of the workforce? What we did a diversity and inclusion survey just to say, what do you guys think about this? We're really starting to launch our initiative, and really understood the mindsets. And there were, great excitement about it, but there are also some concerns about it. And so as we developed the program, it was really designed not only to create this outreach and build the business case, but also to address some of the concerns that the employees had said. So I think you really need to do kind of a 360, internal, external, and then workforce, to really understand, kind of how to really start your program.
No, that's great. And actually, you touched on something that I often get questions about, challenges. I often have members say to me, we wanted to start a diversity and inclusion program. We've had some fits and starts, but we've had some challenges. So can you tell us a little bit about maybe some of the challenges that Flagstar had and how you've overcome them?
Yeah, I think some of the first challenges are majority employees saying, well, if we're going to focus on diversity, what about me? Mm-hmm. And really just being authentic and having open dialogue and conversations and saying diversity is about everyone. That's why it's diversity and inclusion, because there really is room kind of for everyone to be engaged. The second, I would say, is really helping people understand the business case. So when you talk about, diverse markets, there's a reason these markets are called underserved for so long. They're being underserved. And so there's a huge business opportunity to really engage in those, now we call them emerging markets, but to engage in those markets, to really start to understand what the business strategy is, how are you going to really go at those markets, and talking to people about what that means for the organization and why this is important. And then the third, I would just say, just creating openness and transparency, and making it okay for people to raise those concerns and having real and authentic conversations about it, and not have people feel bad about not being on the bandwagon and not wanting to just, engage or get it right away, but recognizing this is a challenging subject, and it's gonna, take some conversation and understanding and dialogue to really help everybody get there and get to, where we need to be.
And so when you're building out your team and you're thinking about diversity and inclusion, what type of people and leaders and workforce are you looking for now?
Yeah, I'd say first and foremost, passion. You need to have people who are really passionate about the topic and passionate about going into these communities and serving. And so that would be a second, which is, really commitment to serve the underserved, and an openness and almost an affinity to go into these communities. Obviously if the people reflect the communities themselves, it's easier to do. But we have some situations where we don't have good critical mass in some of the markets that we want to serve. And so people who are really open to learning and engaging different cultures to really serve those markets and understanding what are the needs of those communities that may be very different from our majority, markets. And so people that are really open to that. And then the third, I would say, is really just kind of creativity and empathy. And those two things I think go together, because it's empathy to understand what are some of the challenges in the market, and then the creativity is how do you solve the problem. And so really bringing innovation and creativity to whether it be products or our approaches or how we engage, I think are three things that are really important.
Thank you. That was really great advice. Thank you so much for sharing.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at MBA Mortgage and like Mortgage Bankers Association on Facebook and Instagram.